I made some confit duck the other day and was keen to turn something pretty ugly into a somewhat quick and warming meal. I picked the meat from the bones while I had to think about how to make that happen. I thought a cassoulet might work well. It's a relatively stodgy French bean stew traditionally eaten when it starts to get a bit gloomy outside. Cassoulet tends to include some sort of sausage element, but I didn't have any in. I did, however, have the end of a packet of pork mince, so I got both meats into a tray because I wanted to avoid an involved frying stage on the hob. I sliced up a couple of shallots into thin strips, then got them in two to create a nice base of flavour. I didn't add any more fat in at this point as there was plenty of fat surrounding the duck. To make the most of this, I popped the tray into the oven then turned it on. My thinking was that as the meat slowly heated, more fat would render from it and everything would start to roast, fry and get gnarly. This is a really nice way to develop flavours without having to reach for the frying pan. While the meat cooked, I had a search for some white beans but couldn't find any. I did have some black beans however, which got me thinking. In Brazil they have a similar meat and bean stew called feijoada which uses black beans. I thought maybe I could do some sort of cassoulet feijoada tray bake mashup. I grabbed some other bits that I thought might complement the new dish idea and got to work. Cassoulet tends to be topped with a thick layer of breadcrumbs, so I cut up the end of a loaf of bread, then added duck fat and grated garlic. Garlic bread that was crispy and soggy in all the right places felt like a really nice way to introduce a texture to an otherwise soft meal. I got thinking about balancing the flavours at this point. I chopped up some refreshing fennel, some sharp spring onions and got them into a bowl. In Brazil, feijoada is often eaten with wedges of orange. Duck is also eaten with orange a lot in traditional French cooking. I added the juice and zest to a bowl along with some green chilli sauce, another nod to Brazil. I amped up the sharpness with vinegar, added oil for a bit of body and seasoned with salt. It tasted banging and I knew it would complement the other elements really well. Once the meat was super gnarly, I added the black beans, realised there wasn't really enough to stand up to the meat, then added some kidney beans too. I scattered over the duck fat garlic bread and got everything back into the oven until crisp, golden and bubbling. I spooned the stew into bowls, topped with loads of the salsa and got involved. It was warming and stodgy in all the right ways. The fragrant salsa cut through the fat just as I thought it was getting too rich.